Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, Ladrine Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It, delivering on ideas and thoughts. And you know what I do in a nutshell, right? I help to turn dreamers into doers, and I do it from two aspects. I do it from the aspect of career development, resume writing, interview preparation. You're having issues on your job or promotion package, or if you're looking to change your jobs. And I also do it from a business aspect. If you're looking to expand your business, you're looking for marketing strategies, someone to help you with your business plan, or if you just have ideas and thoughts and don't know how to bring them into fruition, I am your girl. Here on the Let's Do It Talk Show, we were primarily created for entrepreneurs, right? Quickly, we realized that the entrepreneur was an entire person. So we talk about faith, we talk about finances, we talk about future, and we talk about families and relationships. Today, we are going to be talking about finances, and we're doing something a little special. Instead of the entire money-making Monday ladies, we have one who is going to drill in and focus on a topic that is very relevant for today. And that is none other than Sacagawea Fanning. She is going to come and talk to us about all of the craziness that's going on with your retirement, your insurance, and everything that you have been saving up for. So, covered and guarded, ensuring adequate coverage and safeguarding your retirement and insurance needs. But you know what I do before I jump into the show, right? I talk about my week and my weekend. So this week and this weekend, first, I have to share a very, very, very proud moment, and it's a mommy moment. So this one I categorize that as dreams. My youngest daughter, who I got on so bad about her career and tried to really shape her. She's elementary education, that's her studies, and she loved to cheer. So she turned that into an actual career. So she went on a business trip to be trained for a director to run her own little gym. So I'm so excited for her and the accolades that she received. And then next it was Faith. Just quickly, Allison Daniels, congratulations to her and her crew for being #1 in several topics on Amazon bestsellers list and also international bestseller. So it was a great project that I had. And then last but not least, the latter part, I have been reflecting and so grateful for the vacation that I was able to take. And this time, as I was going through my pictures, a lot of them I didn't get to post, but I really, really, really focused on the time that I got to relax and really think things over and take reflections in of being grateful. A lot of you who know me know that every year for my birthday is when I take time out to myself and outline my goals, outline the things that I've been working on, my projects, whatever the gap is that I need to finish them up. So of course I did that, but all throughout the process was just being grateful for the things that I have, the things that I'm able to do, but more so for God's covering over me. So I'm on this whole thing of live life to your fullest. Live life to your fullest. And I mean that every day is not promised, but even given that, right, we know that has sentiments to us with so many things that are going on. But my whole thing is that we should be enjoying life anyhow. So that's me. That's my motto. That's what I'm doing. So my hashtag, catch me if you can. That's my hashtag. So catch me if you can. So, Sacagawea, you ready? Turn your volume on so that we can get started. I am so excited to have you on the show today. Shout out to our other ladies. Hey, Shanae. Hey, Janice. So today we're going to be focusing on being covered and protected. A lot of people are talking about this on the news, and God knows at my job, just among our leadership, we have been talking about that with so many changes going on with TSP and just the economy all in itself. So, who other than the expert, Saka Jawea Fanning of Fanning Financials LLC, to come in and educate us and give us some information on what we should do now. I know you have been trying to advise us all before, but we are where we are right now. So what can we do right now? So please start off by letting everyone know, on top of what I've said, any additional information that you want them to know to get started, and let's jump right into the conversation.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Ladrine. And it's so exciting to be with you one-on-one tonight. Yay! Because I always have fun with the ladies, and just us one-on-one is really great. But I think the conversation we're having right now is very timely, especially in this environment where the stock market has been very volatile and fluctuating. And so this is a great time for people to start getting some education in regards to retirement and retirement accounts. And a lot of times what people don't do, and we do it as, you know, it's a flaw we all have as humans, is that we don't think about what our life is going to be after retirement. A lot of people assume that income they're receiving during while they're working is going to be the same as when they retire. A lot of times people aren't thinking about that retirement most likely is going to decrease. So a lot of the challenges I see people having when they're transitioning from, you know, working full time to transitioning to retirement is that one of the big things that I see issues are that people sometimes don't think about the debt they already have, or they tend to carry more debt into retirement. A lot of times people are getting new houses. You know, people are taking on to buying another car, or they're helping family members with financial situations. So some of those issues you really got to start thinking about before you even walk through the retirement door. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm telling people you need to be planning this like at least 10 years prior to retirement date to get yourself set up, because you need to do what I call a financial analysis or financial housekeeping,
right,
and see where you are right now in terms of income coming in, expenses that are paid monthly, debt that you have sitting on the books, especially in regards to credit cards,
right,
any type of loans like car loans, personal loans, or anything like that, your mortgage. How is all that looking right now? So you want to start from ground zero. And that's what we call a financial analysis.
Yeah.
And see,
and can I just add one more in before you go on? One more in to all of the things that you said. Inflation. Yes. In addition to those other ones, inflation get people a lot, because when they're planning for retirement, they plan based on how it is now.
Correct.
Doesn't work at all. And I know that from being in HR. Now, I haven't experienced it yet, but yes. Yeah. So just wanted
to... that was going to be in my part two of when we're doing the evaluation.
Listen, you're the expert, so whenever I get an expert piece, I'm going to slide it on there. But go ahead. Thank you.
No problem. But so when we're doing it, we want to start with where we are currently financially. And by that, we want to see all the income coming in, and that's after taxes. And we want to see what that income is looking like. We want to look at expenses. And then we want to see, like I said, the debt. How much debt are you really carrying?
Right.
And then we want to just see what that total picture looks like, because that's going to show you some key stuff. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? And you got to be real with yourself.
Right.
We got to start a real moment of a reality check. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Because unfortunately, if you're living paycheck to paycheck while you're working, 9 times out of 10, when you go into retirement, you're going to be in that same situation, unless you start doing some clearing of the clutter, in a sense, in the house, which is paying down some of that debt before you go into retirement.
So my question,
Uh-huh.
That's what I was about to ask you. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
I was about to ask you that same question of like, when should you start like lowering your bills and different things that you do? And I know like it's a complex question because it's based on people's like, but as we're talking in this 10-year, it kind of like brought that to my mind. You're not going to be able to continue your customary way of living.
Exactly. So for the people who are lucky enough, start it at the 10-year window. If you're not, if you're 5 years out, start it there. If you're 3 years out, you got to start it there. Unfortunately, you have to start it wherever your window is of when you're going to be retiring, when you're officially going out that door. And you need to start seeing what you need to do to like start accelerating to pay down that debt, because you don't want that full load of debt following you into retirement. Another thing you got to think about, medical cost. Right now, when you're working, especially if you're a federal government employee, your medical costs are automatically coming out of your paycheck in regards to medical, dental, vision. All of that is coming out. And so with federal government employees, you're very, very lucky because you have the federal employee health program,
yes,
which I highly recommend you continue in your retirement.
Absolutely.
So you can still have that great coverage, because co-pays are no joke, especially now that you're going to be a retiree. So you want to make sure that you have that in place. But for the people who are not lucky enough to be federal government employees, say they're self-employed or they work for a commercial type company, you need to make sure you're accounting for how much am I presently paying for medical costs, vision, medical, health care in a sense, and then dental. You need to make sure you're making sure you understand what those costs are and what those costs will be once you transition into retirement. So you want to make sure because that's going to be a huge piece that no one accounts for when they're transitioning from working full time into retirement. And like you said, another thing is inflation. Inflation is a big key right now because inflation is as highest as it's been in like 30 to 40 years.
Right.
I think right now it's like at 8%. So all of this stuff comes into play because with inflation, and for the people who don't understand what inflation means, that's okay. At the end of the day, in layman terms, it's basically how much does your dollar buy you now? And as inflation increases, that dollar that used to get you so much back in like the 1990s, early 2000, is basically buying you less. Yeah. You're going to be able to afford less when it comes to inflation. And what people don't understand is like that's huge, especially when it comes to retirement. Because a lot of times the age-old advice that people have been working on is that, hey, whatever nest egg you've built for yourself, as long as you draw down on it 4% each year, you should be able to survive the length of your retirement. But the key thing that people aren't really taking into account is inflation is increasing. So that 4% that used to be a good amount of money that can help take you through retirement back in the day may not be as much as you probably need to take you into the future. So it's all these key points that you really need to get a handle of. And what I try to tell people, don't overwhelm yourself. It's okay if you feel like, hey, I'm in water up above to my eyeballs. That's when you need to go and talk to someone. Right. Because what a person can help you do is lay all this out and help build a blueprint for you so you understand what you need to do. Because with also federal government employees, and I'll probably touch on that more than any other sector because of where we live in the DMV, which is the hub of federal government employees. Another thing is that people don't realize is that, you know, being a federal government employee, another key thing is the three-legged stool that you're very, very blessed to have, which includes a pension, Social Security, and then your TSP, which hopefully everyone is contributing to. Because that really, really does help you And I'll get into a little bit more into the TSP in a minute. But one key thing you have to think about is that that three-legged stool, it can potentially be a good thing or it could be a bad thing for you. Because what people don't understand is one of those key components, Social Security. A lot of times people don't understand that if you have a certain adjusted gross income above a certain threshold, your Social Security technically can be taxed up to 85%.
Right.
And this was enacted, I believe, back in the Reagan days, and then it increased during the Clinton administration, the percentage.
Right.
So people just, doing your research, understanding how that works is very key, because what it means really at the end of the day, if you have, it's three different buckets when it comes to your retirement. You have your tax deductible bucket, your tax deferred bucket, and your tax free bucket. And I know I've done this on a couple of episodes when I try to educate people on the three buckets of retirement.
Right.
So with the tax deductible, that's more in line to like when you have stocks and you cash in stocks and you have capital gains you have to pay, that's a certain type of tax.
Right.
So like stocks or selling of real estate, those type of taxes, because the percentage of that tax rate is lower than your regular income tax. That's when we go to the tax deferred. Your tax deferred accounts are basically your thrift savings plan, your 401k, your 403b, and your 457s. Those are the retirement accounts where Uncle Sam has let you grow this account to a very big amount, and he's never taxed you. But guess what? He's going to be coming for his once you start withdrawing from that account. So that's your tax deferred. And your third bucket is your tax free. This is where money you've saved in a savings account, CDs, some potential mutual funds, some, but not all, and also life insurance. That's one of your tax-free buckets you can grow tax-free retirement. So what happens is on that tax deferred bucket, if it's a certain amount where you start withdrawing from it, and it can bump you up into another tax bracket, that can also trigger a taxable event for your Social Security. So that's when, for federal government employees, it's important to know, because you're already getting a pension, which is going to be taxed. So that counts against you when it comes to whether or not your Social Security can be taxed. Also, if you have a good amount sitting in your TSP, and you haven't, started converting some of that to like a tax-free account, and you just start withdrawing from it, that can be another potential trigger of you inevitably having to pay or be taxed against your Social Security.
So before we go deeper, I definitely want to hone in on the tax deferred and the TSP, right?
Yes.
So let's bring it to in context of where we are right now. So, and we can use me for an example, right?
Gotcha.
So
go ahead. You want me to speak on it?
So I'm gonna say a couple pieces of my scenario, and then you can speak on it from that standpoint. So, like for me, federal government worker, 31 years in, woo, 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 but don't have age, right? So.
Gotcha.
In terms of retirement, I'm looking at 6.5 years with the early withdrawal, that whole thing. And I'm fine with that because I plan to have a second career. So, which is my business. But, and so the economy right now, the three-legged stool that you talked about, the TSP, and I have done that like just GS2, been putting into that funding. But as we all, government employees and everyone who has heard about it, there are certain times where, because of things that are going on, that money is really like tapped upon. So in trying to figure out that right balance, right? How much do I put into this? I know there's the matching component, but then you can also put other in there. Then there's also the new component, which is the TSP Roth. So we have all of these various things, and now we are where we are, right?
Yeah.
Still in the pandemic. People keep saying post-pandemic. We're still in this pandemic.
Pandemic. People are still getting sick.
Yes. And then you hear on the news, social media, or wherever that they're projecting that a recession. And we financial, you can speak on it from that standpoint. But how do I focus on what should I be doing with my TSP? And and so talk from the likes of that.
Okay, no, and that's a great point. So moving into the realm of, let's just boil it down to TSP. First off, TSP is a great vehicle to be investing in when you're a federal government employee. You're starting out, you go ahead and you put in up to the match, just like you said. You put in up to the match and you continuously let that grow because you're getting free money in a sense with that match.
Right.
But what people don't tell you during that retirement, or they tell you a little too late, is that really the TSP is a great vehicle when you're active federal and government employee or active duty military or an active postal worker or active metro, when you're actively employed. That's when it's great to be contributing to the TSP. Once you start getting into your window of 10 years and then it's going down, you need to be looking at other options can kind of transition that money from the TSP to another vehicle. Because what they don't tell you and explain to you, TSP is a regular annuity. Right. So what people don't understand is that there are different forms of annuity out there. It's like, you know, when you win the lottery, they say, hey, you can take a lump sum or you can take an annuity. That annuity that you're taking is a traditional annuity, just like TSP is a traditional annuity. So the thing to understand is with a TSP, once you start withdrawing from it, it becomes what we call annuitized. Mm-hmm. That means it draws down until it's depleted and all monies are gone. And on average, those monies can run out between 7 to 10 years. Now, what they don't tell people and educate them on 10 years out before they retire is that there are things called an indexed annuity, a fixed indexed annuity, where it does not annuitize because of that key word, index.
Right.
So when it doesn't annuitize, guess what? When you start withdrawing from it, it still earns interest and works for you. So they don't tell people the strategies of, especially being a federal government worker, right. You can have multiple streams of retirement income coming from those two legs. Your pension is coming in, and then you can take that money that's sitting in TSP that you've grown nice and strong, you can convert it to a Roth-like type annuity where it can still continue to grow for you. And guess what? You can start paying the taxes now in the present and not have such a huge tax bill once you walk through the door to retirement. That's a huge thing they never tell federal government employees because sometimes people don't understand the rules in regards. Now, there is a catch with Uncle Sam. Mm-hmm. Uncle Sam says, hey, when you're 59 and a half, I take away that penalty, which is a 10% penalty that you get hit with if you're 59 and a half or younger. Now, if you're 59 and a half and older, and that TSP money is sitting there, you can literally start converting it to tax-free by paying the taxes now because you know what the tax rate is. Just to wake everybody up, now you see what's going on with the stock market. This is the perfect time to be going ahead and setting those plans in place. Because right now, by letting it sit into that TSP account, if you're 59 and a half and older, I'm going to keep saying it until I see younger, 59 and a half and older, you can avoid these stock market losses too with a fixed index annuity. Because this account, it does not go below zero. Literally, when the stock market itself goes below zero into negative territory, it locks down and freezes your principal and interest you have earned. So you can literally take your nest egg, move it over, start paying the taxes now, and not potentially risk losing your hard-built nest egg to the stock market. I literally, and I don't know if people saw this on my timeline, but I literally showed and shared an article where it said in the first 3 months of 2022, retirement accounts lost $3 trillion to the stock market.
Yeah.
3 trillion
Yeah.
that people have taken years to build was lost in 90 days.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. And the question that I had formed before, it came because of, you probably know the exact years where federal governments, it was not federal government per se, but a lot of federal government employees felt it with their TSPs based on the stock market crashing and those various things. So I love how
it's happened a few times. 2001, 2002 was a big one. 2008, 2009, during that time, transitioning of that year. The first 2001 and 2002 was caused by the tech bubble bursting.
Right.
Like basically everybody was trying to go in tech and then it burst. 2008, 2009 was when the housing market kind of crumbled and burst.
And
because they were putting people in houses they couldn't afford.
Right. When 9/11 happened, also there was like an impact around that time as well. Furloughs and all of these various things, we end up seeing the impact. Before you go to your next point, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, you honed in and gave a nice strategy for those who are 59 and a half. And I know you'll provide your information so that they can reach out for consultation and so on. But what would you offer, again,
some people who are not 59 and older who have TSP. So another thing you guys can do, instead of don't withdraw or do a rollover, like people who can do, and I would tell that people 59 and a half, you do a rollover. That's the term you need to use. People who are younger than 59 and a half, guess what? You can still do a loan from your TSP. So what you can do is take a loan, not a withdrawal, because you don't want to get taxed yet too heavily. But what you can do is take a loan. Take that loan, and then we can look on a case-by-case basis to see whether or not we can start building you a tax-free stream of income from that loan, because we have various strategies that are covered in insurance products. Basically, the first one is a program called the Kaizen that not too many people know about. It's a 5-year pay-in plan where you literally are partners with the bank, because the bank matches your contribution 3-to-1. So they're literally your partner. They're paying 75%, you're paying 25%, and they're super growing your retirement. And what happens is you guys are putting in your shares in the first 5 years. The second 5 years, the bank puts in your half of the contribution and their half. Then the last 5 years, you let the money sit and grow. So the total time amount the money sits in the account without being touched is 15 years. Then from there, on that 16th year, you're able to get a stream of tax-free income that usually equates to almost a part-time, usually a full-time job of tax-free income until you're age 120.
Wow.
And you can do it for 5 years.
Wow. Definitely great information. No, I was just saying great information.
Correct. That's one. The second one you can do, because some people don't like to not be able to touch the money for those amount of years, you can do it through a regular index universal life policy, which is essentially what the Kaizen is. So if you want to take your money and you want to be able to use it, you can do it through a regular IUL, where we can do some illustrations where you're able to be your own bank. And that's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it through an index universal life, or we can do it through a whole life policy, whichever works best for you. And basically during that time, you're able to tap into your money within, I think, the first year, depending upon how much you can put into the account. And if you have a strong, hefty 6 figures saved in TSP, you can take like either, I would say, 1/3 or 2/3 and start building another stream of tax-free retirement income. when you know that one, you're going to be getting your Social Security.
Right.
Two, you're going to be getting your pension. Three, you can start taking some of that money in TSP and start doing it somewhere else. And then four, you can get that tax-free going for you.
Yeah. Wow. Definitely great information. And I'm sorry, I saw you like in the middle of your pause, but I just want to chime in. So as we talked about, I know like several things, and I know I personally appreciate the federal government spectrum because that's where I am. That's the space that I'm in. And when we talk about TSP, that's what a lot of people go through. But pensions, 401ks, and all of these other things, they're not only for federal government employees. So I just wanted to make that clear. And the strategies that you just talked about, although, and I appreciate it again, that you took it from an example of a federal government employee, some of these options, not the three-legged stool and not the full part that you made up, but that other option is available for other people to transfer money into. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that on the line. And if anyone has any questions, please put them in the feed. Saka Jawid is an expert at this and talking about insurance. We went through the process, and I actually shared my experience live on air from the process of me working with you, and I couldn't be more than satisfied with what it was. And in fact, as you were explaining it, I was like, so what's the catch? I kept asking you over and over, what's the catch? And I read all of the pages back and forward because it just didn't seem like real. You know what I mean?
I know, but guess who's doing this? People who have money.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for years and years, and they love it. Like Warren Buffett loves index. He likes talking about it. He'll sit there and talk to you all day about index. And like, I don't understand why everybody isn't doing this, because any and everybody can do it. But a lot of times people are reluctant because they haven't heard about it. Right. Or they haven't heard about it at the water cooler. Who at your water cooler who's a multi-million-dollar person?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, who's a millionaire who's working at the water cooler at your job? Yeah. It's not the CEO. The CEO ain't coming down there and talking to you. You know what I mean? So it's like these type of things you have to know about. And one other thing I wanted to throw in about fixed index annuities too is like it's two different types. You have your accumulation types and your income producing. And a lot of times people get confused and think they're one and the same, and they're not. It's two totally different strategies you can use depending upon what your situation will be entering into retirement. If, like I always go back to this, federal government employee, if you already have a pension, your TSP and your Social Security you can bank on, that accumulation can be a very great thing for you, especially if you have a healthy TSP account. And once again, so sorry, Dream, these are my 59 and a half people, really, I'm talking about.
I'll be there someday.
I know, and also with the income producing. But accumulation, I can also do for the clients who are younger than 59 and a half, and they have like a previous 401k that's from a previous employer. Or if you want to take some of that money from TSP and you're younger than 59 and a half and you want to do a loan, you can start it too. It's just, I'm telling you, it's so many strategies. I don't think I have enough time to like go into everything. That's why I'm like, if people are curious and want to know, let's do a one-on-one consultation and we can go through it and I can tailor it to your situation. But yeah, it's just mind-blowing to me because once I started doing this business, and I started back in March of 2018 and I started being exposed to everything, I'm like, this is literally criminal that people don't know about this.
And here's the thing that I find is that I've heard like people talk about, oh, this is what rich people do, this is what rich people do. But like, to be honest and transparent, like the years that I heard that, I was like, I don't have money to do this. I can't afford to do that. And I'm telling you, going over as you gain some insight from various different places. I'm not a risky person. That's just not me, right? So when I hear things, I'm like, what's the catch? What's the catch? What's the catch? What's the catch? So I just challenge people to at least reach out and have a consultation with you so that, as you said, customize it. Because although you're talking about things at the level of some very basic things that are just rules and policies and open avenues that are out there, when you dig down, and I love how you did, and although I don't have the direct insight of 100%, the when you did the consultation with my youngest daughter, but I can tell you, those can you send me this? Can you send me that? All of that, it has ceased. It has ceased, and it has been 2 years and a half, 3 years or so. So, the only thing that I remember her saying was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like she really helped me, and I'm like, "Help you? Like you need to pay rent now, or like help you in what?" So, and I say that part jokingly, but it really did help her, and I'm just loving how that talk, like that session, and that strategy of walking down through it. So, and I'm saying this to say, it doesn't matter like where you are, start from where you are. Open up and have that consultation. And I know you all always talk about, I mean the financial gurus, always talk about how people are normally embarrassed about their situation and therefore they hold information in, but you can't get help holding it in. And oftentimes there are like some very simple solutions that you all bring to the table, even on the show. That's why I love having you on, because I'll challenge and ask questions from a consumer standpoint. But trust me, you all help me, and I know like so many other people that you help them as well. So I just wanted to cut in and say that part so that people wouldn't think that it's above their head or they can't afford it. You know that cliche? They can't afford not to do it.
Exactly. And that's why I love working with people, and it's like they know they come into a safe space. So we are able to talk about everything truly and honestly and be transparent, because I'm upfront with them. I was like, I can't help you if you're not transparent and 100% honest with me. And once they are, it's like the weight is lifted, and they see that it wasn't as scary as they thought it was.
Right.
And so once we get all of those hurdles and they start putting in the work, it's like, I'm like a proud parent, because I'm like, I have clients who were like living paycheck to paycheck with no savings, to now being a homeowner and having like 4 to 5 figures sitting in savings and not being stressed anymore.
Yes.
And able to get a new car and afford it.
Yes. So if any questions that you have, please put in the feed. But I definitely want to give a shout out to the good Dr. Reverend Dr. Sharon Harley. And she commented along the way. She said they have to keep being reminded, and I don't know why. She was talking about COVID earlier. And then she also said, this is great information. And when you started breaking down the different strategies that one could take, she put wow in the comment, and it's just, it really is wowing, because it almost seemed too good to be true.
I know, and that's why I was like, I started, because I'm the same way. I'm like a skeptical. You know, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what about? But I just started doing the work, and I started breaking it down, and I'm like, this is legitimate. This is legitimate, legal, and you can do it at any income level. It's just some require more money to put in the machine to make it, you know what I mean?
Right.
A more available quicker for you. But it's possible. It's like you got, and what I try to tell people is don't compare yourself to the Joneses.
That's right.
Don't have this fairy tale view of what you think retirement should be. It has to come from a realistic view of where you are, and we're going to do whatever we need to do to build your blueprint for your ideal scenario for retirement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can't be these unrealistic expectations where all of a sudden money is falling from trees that weren't there during your working years, but for some reason you think it's going to automatically be there during retirement. And please, I try to tell people, don't think Social Security is going to be this hefty amount of money you're getting in. No, it's not. Start looking at that printout that they no longer mail it. You got to go ahead and sign up for an account on the Social Security Administration website. Sign up for your account and print out your latest Social Security estimation. It's going to break it out to you of if you decide to take Social Security at 62, what that monthly amount will be, and what's going to be, I believe, at each year. So 63, 64, 65, 67, all the way up to 70. And so what people don't realize, if you do take it at 62, you're basically taking a 25% reduction in your entitlement based on if you had waited to your full retirement age, which is FRA for Social Security, which right now I believe is either 66 and 6 months or 67 for the majority of people who are going into Social Security. So you have to take a look at that and see what's most beneficial for you during retirement. Is start it at 62 or wait to 60, around 66, 67, or even 70. Some people can wait till 70.
And it's a full strategy. It's a strategy, and you have to make sure that it's customized for you yourself individually. Exactly. As you talk about budgeting, as we talk about insurances, as we talk about all of these various things, you have to figure out what's right for you. Even working in a human resources environment where people would used to come, now my position changed, but people used to come all the time, and instead of going to the retirement benefits, would ask us, like, what is it in this area? Even when I was dabbling in the benefits area, it's like, I can give you the fundamental rules and regulations, but it's not a one size fit all. And as you were talking, the thing that came to my mind as you were talking about planning and the 10-year plan, I think about this all the time in terms of car. Like, okay, like my car is a 19, should I get a new car now, or how should I do? Because the thing that I want to do is make sure that when I retire, that my car is paid off. So if I get a new car, adding on and counting down. So it's so many different things like that. So when you talked about debt as a whole, people often just look at credit cards or different things like that. You got to look at your entire pocket. And that's why I love what you do in terms of like breaking it down from every component. And yes, we could go in, pull a spreadsheet, we can find one off the website and go through, but we don't have the strategies. It's the same how my area and my field that I dance in is in HR. And even when I talk through the coaching of my clients, I tell them, it's not that difficult to get into the federal government. Oh my God, I've been trying for years. That's me. I've studied this and I've done this for 30 years. So I know the strategies. I know the different hiring mechanisms. Same way for your field, and the same way for other people's fields. So people have to open up and gain help and reach out for consultations in areas that you don't have experience, because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on so many options that are out there just from the lack of not having knowledge about it.
Correct. And that's why I do want to foot stomp it, because I have some people who are coming into my sphere and want to do consultation. This is also for teachers too. It's like once you get to a certain age, like I said, and people, a lot of people who I'm talking to right now are in that 59 and a half and older, 58 and a half and older realm right now. And I'm like, right now is when you need to be doing those rollover strategies. Also, people who are going into their 70s. Another main thing that Uncle Sam will drop on you is what we call a RMD, required minimum distribution. A little thing that people don't know is that now the age has changed over the last couple of years. It was 70 and a half, now it's 72. But what that means is that once you reach the age of 72 and you have a tax deferred retirement account you haven't touched, you are required, and it's mandatory to take a distribution, because if you don't, Uncle Sam will tax it up to like 50%.
Yes.
If you don't take it.
Yes,
and in the Secure Act 2.0, that's currently being vetted on the Hill. They're trying to raise the age to 75, and at one point they're trying to get rid of it altogether. But right now, Uncle Sam is holding on to that, and it's 72, and you're required to take that money out that tax deferred account. So.
Yes. Very good information. Very great information. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a very quick commercial break, and then when I come back, you'll have enough time for your closing remarks and to provide them with your contact information and how they can get in touch with you. All right.
Okay,
so we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome back to the remaining show. So much valuable information. I did not want to cut it off because the information was just compounding and compounding. 59 and a half. If you do not have a financial advisor, then you definitely want to connect with Sacagawea. Under 59 and a half, Sacagawea gave great valuable information, and I'm definitely going to tag her so that we can do something to talk a little teeny bit more, because as I mentioned to you all, I gained so much value from the Money Making Monday ladies from a financial area that helped me in my personal life. So huge shout out to the good Reverend Dr. Sharon Holly for comments and participating and being so active. And I also see my brother, Minister Andre Watts, the other people I can't tell who's on the line. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Definitely appreciate you. So just want to make a couple of notes. One, if you are not already doing so, please follow us on all social media platforms. We are Let's Do It Talk Show. That's our Instagram page, our Facebook group, our YouTube channel, as well as our website name. Shout out to all of our sponsors. One who is on with us today as our special guest, although she is a contributing host, Sacagawea Fanning, so Fanning Financials. Also, B Premier Venture LLC with Janice Bowles, and also Shanae Robinson, which is the Professional Credit Diva. So all of the ladies, make sure you don't miss a Money Making Monday. And then last but not least, that we all grieve differently. I've been trying to find a point to kind of like stop and titter off on talking about that. But every week I keep getting blessed with this project, which I did not even think for it to be that way. So we all grieve differently and we all heal differently. So God bless this project and the assignment that he gave me, The Climb. Extremely excited about all that's coming through with The Climb. I got sick and then I paused it, but I also wanted the opportunity to have some other people involved with this project. So just great things coming with that, and that is going over. It's kind of like a memoir, right, about my 30 years in the federal government, the ups and the downs. And I'll tell you at any time that the ups outweigh the downs. So we're going to go back to Sacagawea so that we can wrap up this conversation. Any more additional information? Just a pleasure to have you talking about this information. So as we go, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, so I know we're giving a lot of information for the 59 and a half, right? I'm a planner, so I'm 51. I'll be there soon. So one of the things that I was talking about, as I mentioned, after retiring from the federal government, I plan to start my own business with project management, HR, and the likes of it, but that's going to be like my second career. So what advice do you have for those who are currently in their second career stage, rather it been that they retired from the federal government or some other company that had a 401k or some type of retirement plan?
So I would say the same thing for them, even if they're not 59 and a half and they've transitioned from that career and they're in their second career, they can go ahead and do a rollover type transition for that account of money and not be penalized, and basically roll it into another product, protecting it from stock market volatility. It's still growing for you. And so that's that nest egg. And then you can also take some of it and start another stream of income, of tax-free income.
Yes.
So those people can do it too. And I'm like, hey, that's what these strategies are for. So, it's like sometimes, how can I put this nicely? People see that they, built that big nest egg, and people see the money and then they start spending from it. I'm like, go against whatever that instinct that comes to start to spend it, because remember, you want to live comfortably in your retirement and you've worked so hard to grow it. Keep growing it, and then let's strategically see how we can make it even more for you. That's my key thing to the people who are going into that second retirement. Let that nest egg you built in a 401k, thrift savings plan, or 403b or 457, let's strategize and put a blueprint together to make it grow even more, and maybe into multiple lanes or streams for you. That's my key thing for people going into the second career.
And I love that. And I'm going to let you close out. One topic that we have to have, and I say this with all due respect, right?
Okay.
I'm not a financial planner, but you're a financial planner, and how you just talked about saving and making sure and making your money grow. I'm definitely on making your money grow, right? But I'm also about living your life to the fullest. I don't mean overly splurging, but people save money, are depressed, and go through all of these different things, and then they get sick where they don't get to enjoy it. Another show, I don't mean for you to step in and answer that, but I wanted to say that so you can start thinking about that. So maybe the next month, for the second Monday, we can tap on that a little bit.
Definitely.
I think that's very
we can do that.
important.
And let me just throw in there. You can do it.
Right.
Just
You can't do what?
Sure it's there.
You can't do it, but go ahead. I don't want to throw you off, so please do your close out and wrap up, but we're definitely going to circle back and talk about that.
Okay, and one thing I didn't touch on, I did really want to touch on, also to my small business owners or people who are self-employed, please get with me. We can
Yes.
also set up some strategies for you, especially using life insurance as a tax-free vehicle for you, because that can help you during your current business, where we can start making sure that we can lower your tax liability,
Right.
and also build your retirement funds at the same time. So just want to throw that nugget out there too.
Love that. Love
so, once again, my name is Sacagawea Fanning, CEO and founder of Fanning Financial Group, LLC. I can be reached on LinkedIn if you want to message me there, Facebook, and also Instagram. I'm Sacagawea Fanning. So it's like all three. I don't have any, cool, catchy title. So, but that's me. Also, I'm going to put my phone number. It's 706-717-9590, and you can put in free consultation. You can text me or text free, and I can set up a confidential one-on-one free, no obligation consultation where we can go through where you are currently, see where your goals are for retirement, and what type of blueprint we can build for you to get you there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Sacagawea. Always lovely to have you when you come in on the second Monday of the month, but a special treat to have you today where you can hone in and really talk about what's going on with very useful information. So once again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Woo! So I hope you all had your pencil and pad and was taking notes. And as I mentioned to you, Sacagawea does the customization. So reach out to her free, no cost. It's going to cost you your time, but reach out to her, and I guarantee you that you're going to feel like it's worth your time, more than worth your time. And I'm saying it as a client, not as just someone trying to promote what she's doing. And y'all know me. I'm skeptical about a little bit of everything, but she definitely helped me. So, again, thank you all so much. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. Let's Do It Talk Show. Next week is a holiday, and I'm really, really, really trying to not work and come in on holidays. So we're going to have to get some pre-recorded shows stored up because I'm hoping that I'm not in the studio next week. But upcoming shows that we have, the Money Making Monday ladies, the second Monday of the month, they'll be back. They've been watching, their job is to watch economics and politics and what's going on and how it impacts us. So I don't watch the news, so I don't have to do the homework, but very valuable information that could really help you. And then we're gonna I miss the old times of reminiscing back. I've been thinking back when we had the women versus the men battle. I was trying to wait for us to come back in the studio, but I can't wait anymore. So we're going to start those back up right in the midst of the summer. And then we're going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that where we kind of go over hot topics. So I'm planning to do 4 of those in the upcoming months. And then the climb, the 30 tips and strategies. So I'm going to invite some people that I used to work with or some people that I managed in my career to be a part of a panel, to have a discussion, to commiserate my book. And then Benny Thornton, keeping his family in prayers. But I cannot wait for him to come on. We had to reschedule, but the family business, the gift and the curse. So it's all about that growing up in the drug area and how he made a decision to get out. And then I'm so excited. I'm going to have Tamala Coleman on the show, who is the editor-in-chief of Inspire Christian Magazine. Excited about all the upcoming guests and all the things that we're doing. So make sure you stay connected, and good night. I see you all, not next week, but the week after. Peace. Have a good night.